And we're glad you're here with Michigan's retirement coach, certified financial planner, Mr. Mike Douglas, who is here to help you, coach you through all of the things that need to be planned for. I like to call it the retirement game plan because you need to have lots of little, you got to have your defensive strategy. You got to have your offensive strategy. You've got to have your special teams. You got to have all the different areas you need to have in your retirement plan. MichigansRetirementCoach.com is where you can start that conversation. You can also click on the links we've got posted in the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Michigan's Retirement Coach on YouTube to find us there. YouTube, as I like to say it.
Like, hit, subscribe. People love to say, punch that subscribe button.
They do?
Smash that subscribe. Smash that like button.
Sounds like a bad idea when it comes
Smash
to phones and video.
Smash that subscribe. Like, all right. And then you just break the screen of your phone.
Sounds like aggressive behavior when it comes to expensive tech.
Smash that like button.
Don't smash anything. You can just click it.
Just
click it.
Yep. That's all you got to do.
That's all you need. That's all it takes. All right. Thinking about some of the ups and downs we've seen in the market lately, it's recovered. Are we back to recovered? Where are we?
Oh, yeah. We're back to recovered.
Okay. So it was just a blip. But a good reminder as to what can happen literally overnight.
Yeah.
And for somebody who is 55 and older, how nauseating that 24-hour cycle can be for your retirement plan. So there was this new study from Global Atlantic talking about how 61% of retirees would rather preserve their money than grow it, understandably. And there actually is some correctness in that mindset. You have to move to a preservation and spending mentality versus the saving and growing mentality.
Mm-hmm.
The study also found 65% want guaranteed income for life, and 69% reported discussing loss prevention with their advisor. But here is the plot twist, Mr. Douglas, that I want to talk to you about. Because thinking about these people that can you over secure yourself, over save to a point where it actually ends up working against you? The fear of losing money is so strong that you don't grow your money enough, even in your retirement years, to fund a long retirement. That can happen, right?
You can over-index your fear quite a bit. What you do is you want to make sure that you have a long-term perspective making short-term decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean we don't make short-term decisions, right?
Okay.
We want to understand that in bad markets, we need to hedge and protect and preserve.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to have an understanding that mattress money loses to interest, loses to inflation, loses to all these things.
Well, that's the thing. People are like, oh, I'm safe. I'm in cash. Well, when you've got inflation, and also when you have inflation, and if you don't, maybe you have your cash, but I'm looking in a mirror right now. My husband and I, we sold our house. We got some cash, and it has been sitting in a not high yield savings account. I know. Don't be disappointed in me. I'm sorry.
It's the easiest time ever to make 5%.
So sorry. Help me. It's not easy. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me.
Yeah. It's so right now. Absolutely. And again, now the difference is too, you are not staring down the barrel of retirement.
Right.
But
still,
you should be making money. Actually, it's a more of an indictment because you should be making more money.
I'm done. I know.
But those who are in retirement or near retirement, you start entering that phase of crashes hurt more. It's not so a crashing market for retiree is not an opportunity. It's a liability. It's a major issue because if you're down 25% and you're still taking out 4% to live off, you're down 29%, then you just hurt your chances of recovery. So it's a big difference when you get to that phase of life. We do need to start protecting and having our eye trained towards risk, but an appropriate portfolio says, how much am I comfortable losing? How much am I comfortable having at risk and exposed to the ups and downs of the market? And once we know that, because what we generally say that most retirees are moderately conservative. Moderately conservative means when the market's good, you want to make all the returns. When the market's bad, you don't want to lose anything, right? Yeah. And that's not a thing, but we want to make sure that it's built appropriately. So the problem is, as you're getting close to retirement, you start getting these invites to either, again, dinner seminars, and we do educational workshops. We do dinner seminars. You see a podcast, you see a radio or TV program, and we're on radio and TV. I get it. Like you see them, and they sell you the fear, and then they say, all right, are you afraid of losing? Yes, I'm afraid of losing. All right, well, then come work with me. And then they have you take a 10-question risk tolerance questionnaire, and you come out to moderately conservative. And they throw you in a blend of 30 or 40 funds and say, let's check on it every 90 to 120 or 180 days. And it's a rebalancing model. And again, there's nothing wrong with elements of that, but we need to understand risk on a much more detailed portfolio plan. So what we do is we look at risk in 3 formats. You want to understand what your risk tolerance is, which is your gut reaction, your visceral reaction to risk. Am I okay with losing money? Some people come in and they say, I'm very conservative. I don't want to lose anything. And then we go run the numbers out and say, unfortunately, because of what you have saved versus what you want to spend, you actually need to go make some money in the market to make it work. So that's one side. Other people come in and they say, I'm very aggressive. I'm still trying to recover from 2008. I'm trying to recover all these things. And they're very concerned and they want to be aggressive. And then we show them the numbers and say, you can live on 1% return the rest of your life and never spend this money. So do you want to be aggressive? And they say, oh, well, I guess maybe I don't have to anymore.
Right. Okay.
So we want to understand where you are, but then we also understand, so that's risk tolerance is who you are. Risk capacity is your portfolio. How much can my portfolio afford to lose before it becomes difficult or detrimental to recover? So for example, if you're not pulling money out, right? Let's say you've retired, you've got some savings, your pension, your Social Security, and you're not actually touching your investments. The market drops 20%. As long as you're not withdrawing and you can hang in there, it's going to work itself out. It's not going to be a big deal. We don't want to lose 50%, but you can recover easier than if you're withdrawing money because every withdrawal compounds the losses. So if you're losing 20% in the market and you're taking out 5%, you're down 25%. So we want to make sure we're very wise about that. And so risk capacity is how much can your portfolio afford to lose and still be likely to recover over time. That's risk capacity. The final is risk requirement. What is the lowest rate of return you can get and still be okay? Like, for example, I gave you with the aggressive clients who come in. They come not aggressive clients, but aggressive risk tolerance clients. They're not aggressive people. They're just aggressive risk tolerance. And they come in and they say, hey, I like being aggressive. And I say, you could live on 1%. You know, for example, we've had a couple different people that come in with a couple $1 million. And as we talk, they'll have 2 different perspectives. One person will say, I've got $3 million. I can lose $1 million and still have $2 million. So I can be aggressive. Other people come in and say, I've got $3 million. Why wouldn't I just earn 3% a year, take that $90,000, live off of it, and then don't touch the $3 million? Let's be as conservative as we can and get the 3%. It's just different strokes for different folks. It's figuring out what's appropriate. But we want to figure out your risk requirement, risk capacity, risk tolerance. That is a balanced risk portfolio. It's a whole different way of looking at your money rather than saying, all right, well, how much, what am I comfortable with? Because that's just one piece. Some people's comfort is completely dichotomous from their requirement or what needs to happen in their life. And so we get these feelings, especially out of a crash. If you come out of a crash year, 2008, 2009, people were very sensitive to losses. 2022. We had, it's kind of a funny example. We had a client who came in. She'd been with us for several years, but in 2022, she came in and we were talking through how much risk she wanted in her portfolio. And this is February of 22. And so in that, we were at the start of a market crash. The market was down about 7% in January of 22. Russia had put people on the border of Ukraine. We had all these things that were affecting world politics, and the market looked like it was going to continue to crash. And so when she took this risk assessment, we ran the numbers out and said, where do you sit? Well, her on a score of 1 to 99, 99 being the most aggressive number she could possibly get, and 1 being the most conservative, she landed at about a 20. I mean, very conservative, which is indicative of a crashing market response. Because again, the risk tolerance is a visceral, it's your gut reaction. Market's crashing, I'm not aggressive, and that happens to be the timing of when she took the test. So she takes it, gets a 20, and we build, and I say, is that where we want to be? And we look at it, it's like she doesn't need this money. She doesn't have to be aggressive. She doesn't have to be conservative. Whatever she wants. The numbers worked out on the other side. We ran it. She's comfortable. Let's be conservative. So we put it in there, put it in conservative and didn't touch it. Come back around, 2023 comes, and all of a sudden the market's going gangbusters. And she's saying, why am I not participating in more of these gains? And I said, we sent you a risk assessment. We should maybe consider bumping your risk up. Well, all of a sudden now, during a good market, her score came back in at about a 55 on a scale of 1 to 99, significantly more risky. So risk tolerance is malleable. It does change sometimes according to environments. And someone who says it doesn't, I don't think they're being honest about our lives.
Of course. That's right.
Right. My mood changes when I'm hungry. Like I'm a different, like the Snickers commercials, right? You're not yourself when you're hungry. Don't tell me that my feelings about money don't change based on world policy when a blood sugar drop can turn me into the Grinch, right?
Yeah.
And this is much more significant than a blood sugar drop. And so we're talking about a major thing that will change your mood, and your mood affects your decision making, right? I mean, I've got 4 kids. Kimberly's a wonderful pregnant person. Like I hear these crazy stories about people when they're pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Kimberly's wonderfully sweet when she's pregnant. She's
Some people
very
are great
gentle.
at being pregnant. Yeah.
She's very good at it, except this one time. And I'm going to share the one time because it's a funny story. So I was on a workout plan with a buddy of mine. And so we were eating these certain meal plans. And part of our meal plan was a yogurt granola breakfast and then basically very strict food after that. Okay. And so I went and bought low-fat yogurt for breakfast for myself.
For you. Right.
I always have bought low fat. I've never bought whole fat anything for me. I bought low fat yogurt and a very cheap granola, whatever. So she comes out of the kitchen. She's holding this yogurt. She goes,
"What is this?
What's this mean?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What does this mean?" She goes, "You saying I'm fat?" I said,
fat?
What are we talking about here? And she goes, "Why would you buy
Kimberly.
low-fat yogurt?" I said, "That's not for you. Quit touching my yogurt." And she was like, "What?" I said, "You never asked for yogurt. I didn't buy you yogurt." But it just goes to show who a perfectly rational, regular person in a moment of like hormones or feelings or sensitivity,
weakness, yes,
how we can change it. And that's yogurt. And it's a funny little story that we love and share because and if she was actually a bad pregnant person, I wouldn't share that story. But she was very good at it. And that's our fun moment. It was our first kid too. So it's even better. Okay. I'm like, she got over it and it never happened again.
Right.
But that's just a little thing. And yet when you get your finances involved and your life savings and everything you've been working for, we're told don't get emotional. That's not real. I'm going to get emotional. I get mad if interest rates go high and and my car gets more expensive, much less my entire life savings being up for grabs. So we want a plan that's protected against all those things, understanding that risk is comprehensive. It's malleable. It changes. It needs to be checked on and checked in. It needs to be updated as things go. And that it's okay to say, today I'm conservative, but tomorrow I might become more aggressive. Now, it shouldn't be every day, right? We don't want to be an emotional roller coaster with investments. Right. We want to use long-term thinking to make short-term decisions. If you say, I want to go conservative and I don't want any risk, then what we need to do is put in our models that says, all right, if we stay conservative the rest of your life, will you be okay? As long as the numbers work, it's good. So we want to take an emotional reaction, put it into a calculated decision or calculated model, and from there make our decisions. So it's not that your feelings aren't valid, and actually they need to be accounted for. It just can't be the only deciding factor. Sure. So we talk about risk management, risk planning. It comes from a custom-built risk portfolio, something that's really specific to you and your family. And it's a little bit with the understanding of it's me today. You know, they say that an album is a snapshot of where a band is at a given time. At that moment, yeah. Yeah, it's who they were musically, lyrically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whatever. That's where they are. The next album is going to be different because they're different. Yep. Your risk tolerance, your risk capacity, your risk portfolio, this all is going to change now based on what's going on in the market and the interest rates and all these different things. That is what building a good plan is all about. It's understanding who you are and not letting the investments dictate your life, but let your life inform how the investment should go and have these things work hand in hand. It's kind of this idea of like technology, science, emotions, personality all coming together to build this perfect retirement plan for you and for what makes sense for your family. On our website, michigansretirementcoach.com, there is a button that says start your retirement roadmap today. That is the button that you click that button, smash that button, right? And when you do that, it's going to engage a conversation with us where we're going to say, hey, let's get to understand who you are and let's start building out a custom risk portfolio for you. That way you can understand even more about who you are. You can understand not just how I feel, but are my feelings and my finances congruent? And do my feelings and my finances being congruent, does that line up with my future? Because sometimes we just try to make sure, well, here's my feelings. Do my finances line up with my feelings? Yes. Well, then I'm all good. Not if it screws up your future. So we want to make sure we calculate that last one, that risk requirement, your future. If you want to have that conversation, get a custom risk portfolio built out so you can understand who you are, where you're going, your failings, finances, and future. Go to our website, Michigan's Retirement Coach, smash that button that says Start Your Retirement Roadmap today, and we'll have that conversation, get to know you, get to know your family, and figure out what makes the most sense for you.
Because at Life Plan Financial Design, your feelings matter, not one of these calculated banks that just tell you to just...
You're a person, not an account number, but don't be as emotional as a person, right? It's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that, right? Again,
a little bit of this. It's about finding the balance. That's why you're here. That's why you have a job.
Long-term information and education to make short-term decisions. Yeah.
MichigansRetirementCoach.com, again, is the website. We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there or smash there if you do so feel inclined to ruin whatever device you are watching or listening from right now. MichigansRetirementCoach.com.